Welcome. Our topic today is solving quadratic equations by using the quadratic formula. First of all, to identify what a quadratic equation is, this is the standard form. You have some number times x squared plus or minus some number times x plus or minus some constant and equal to 0. So you need to get your quadratic equation into that form in order to use the formula. And the first thing we will look at is making sure we have the correct form and can identify A, B, and C. Okay, you see the form ax squared plus bx plus c. And this, of course, is plus or minus, and this is plus or minus. And we have the example x squared plus 3x plus 10. A is the coefficient of x squared. So what is A in this case? The coefficient of x squared is 1, understood. If there is no coefficient written, the coefficient is 1. So what is B? The coefficient of x is 3, and C is the constant term, and the constant term here is 10. So the very first thing we have to do is we have to make sure we have the correct form. That means everything on one side equal to 0, and the terms in descending powers. The second power, the first power, the 0 power of x. Okay, another example. Let's get this over here. Another example. Okay, first of all we have to say, do we have the correct form? No, we don't. We need to have the numbers in descending powers, the terms in descending powers. So you need the x squared term first. So we need to rewrite this. And we rewrite, put 2x squared first. The x term comes next, 2x squared minus 5x, and then this is positive, plus 3 equals 0. Now we have the quadratic form in standard form. What is A? A equals 2. Now, what is B? B is not exactly 5. B is negative 5. That's important. It's important to know what the sign is. So B is not 5, B is negative 5. And then we have C. C is 3. So the very first thing, make sure you can identify the terms. We have descending powers, second power, first power, 0 power. We identify A, B, and C. 2 for A, negative 5 for B, and 3 for C. Okay? Important to get the terms in the correct order and get the right form first. Okay, the quadratic form. This is not in quadratic form because you don't have everything on one side equal to 0. So what you have to do really is you have to subtract 9 from both sides of the equal sign. So we have the equal sign here, we have to subtract 9 here, and we have to subtract 9 on the other side. So we can get the correct form. And we want to put this in descending powers. This is a 9. We have 4x squared plus x minus 9 equals 0. Now we have correct form. The second power of x, the first power of x is 0, or the 0 power, or the constant term equal to 0. We have to identify A, B, and C now. What is A? What is B? Aha! This is a plus sign. I don't want to be too sloppy. So B is understood to be 1. B equals 1. And C, and again, C is not 9 in this case. C is negative 9. Okay, let's look at another example here, the next part. So, now we're going to use the quadratic formula. Okay, and I have the quadratic formula written here for you. This is, first of all, the equation is in standard form. It's ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. We identify a, the coefficient of x squared, is 1 understood in this case. B is 5, and C is 6. Then we have the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula. It is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. That will give me the values of x. And you see we have plus or minus. Normally with quadratic equations, normally we have 2 solutions. Now it's possible to have only 1 solution. It's also possible to have no solutions. But normally, typically, we have 2 solutions, and that's what the plus or minus here is all about. Now let's look at working this problem. Okay, we have minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And then we do the algebra. And I'll move this up so you can see it. I've done the algebra here. And so we had 25 minus 24 here because it was 5 squared and this was minus 24. And so we end up with here negative 5 plus or minus the square root of 1 over 2. Negative 5 plus or minus essentially the square root of 1, which is 1, by the way. The square root of 1 is 1. And then we're going to look and see what we have. So the square root of 1 is 1. Negative 5 plus 1 over 2 or negative 5 minus 1 over 2. So negative 5 plus 1 is negative 4. Negative 4 over 2 is negative 2. Then we have negative 5 minus 1, negative 6 over 2, negative 3. So those are our 2 solutions. In this case, both of our solutions are negative. It's possible they could both be negative, they could both be positive, or you could have one of each, or you could only have 1 solution, or you could have no solutions. These are all possibilities, but normally we have 2. Okay, now let's finish this off here and make sure we have the right answer. Our original equation was x squared plus 5x plus 6 equals 0. We have these 2 solutions. X equals, and I'll move this up where you can see it. Our original equation here is x squared plus 5x plus 6 equals 0. Sorry about that, I'll just move that a little bit. Okay. And my solutions are x equals negative 2, x equals negative 3. Or, so not both at the same time, one or the other. So we're going to put the negative 2 in here and make sure this is a true statement. So if you have negative 2 squared, negative times negative is positive. This will give you 4, positive 4, right here. Positive times negative 2 negative 10. So 4 minus 10 here would be negative 6. Plus 6 equals 0. Yes, the negative 2 works. The negative 3 will also work. Negative 3 squared. 3 times 3 is 9. Negative times negative is positive. So we have positive 9 here. This would be 9 if we have negative 3 here. If we have negative 3 for x, this would be negative 15. 9 minus 15. 9 minus 15 is negative 6. Plus 6 equals 0. So that's just one example of using the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula is nice because it always works. Sometimes we have easier ways of doing a particular quadratic equation, but the nice thing about the quadratic formula is it always works. Difficult thing for many people is memorizing it. You may have to memorize it, or the teacher may allow you. I will allow my students to use this on a test to know the formula ahead of time and to write it down ahead of time. But anyway, you should be able to employ the formula. And that's all there is to the quadratic formula. It's very simple. And this has been Math with Martin Frank. There are a series of videos. This is one. The videos extend to algebra, a little bit of trigonometry, a little bit of geometry, and a little bit of general math. So look for these on YouTube. Math with Martin Frank. Thanks for watching. Bye.